Hello and welcome to Cal and Dom Talk Nonsense Series 2, Episode 5. We are at the halfway point of Season 2 now and we have so much to get through, including Leon Edwards' triumphant UFC victory at the O2 Arena, the incredible Sheffield United versus Blackburn FA Cup display, that Fulham meltdown at Old Trafford. But should we start with a man who's had quite a bit to say in the media about his Spurs side this week? I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Dom Meadowcroft, who is one half of Cal and Dom Talk Nonsense. But this week, as you can see, we've also got our lovely Quizmaster, Charlie Skeggs, in the building. Charlie, we have a lot to discuss about your beloved Tottenham Hotspur. I think we should probably start with the quotes themselves, shouldn't we? I think that's probably the best way to dissect this, isn't it?
Yeah, go on, Dom. Go on, Dom. Give us a read.
Here we go. Are you ready? During a tense press conference, the former Inter Milan and Chelsea boss said the club has a responsibility for the transfer market. Every coach that stayed here has the responsibility. And the players, where are the players? 20 years there is the owner, and they never won something. But why? The fault only for the club or for every manager that stay here is very broken, to be honest with you. You're finding an alibi, another alibi. You try and find an excuse for the player. Okay, continue to do this to find an excuse for the players. You do only this. You do only this. It's very Roman. It's very Shakespearean-esque, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Excuses for the players, but the players maybe my future. Then we lose confidence. They lost spirit. They lost a team. Excuses. Try to protect them every time. Quite scathing. And this is his face while he was doing it. Well,
he's quite a handsome man. Usually, I was to say they've got a very dodgy screenshot there. But yeah, is that your screenshot, Dom?
Yeah, I've edited his face. Can't have someone on that's better looking than us three combined. So gotta mold it a little bit, liquefy it.
Yeah.
And that is me for the Antonio Conte part. You two can carry on with this now.
Yeah,
but obviously, Charlie, you are a Tottenham fan yourself. We've spoken on here before. Obviously, you're out of the FA Cup, the Champions League, but yet you're still fourth in the league with everybody complaining. Tottenham is so confusing, and I just cannot put a finger on where the issue is. And clearly, Antonio Conte has that issue, and it seems to be with the players. What was your thoughts initially with that?
I think there's a lot to unpackage here, and I have loads and loads of layering, sometimes contradicting views on it, based on generally the same sort of thing. Which I think that, to touch on what you just said there, Dom, Tottenham are a very confusing club, and they're confusing to a lot of people. But the confusion comes essentially because they're wearing big boy pants, to put an analogy. They're wearing big boy pants. They're up there. They've got the stadium, the training facility, everything about Spurs, and a man that we're going to touch upon probably, the manager that probably took us to as good as we've been, Pochettino. There's a bit of something about Spurs which I think where everyone just kind of goes, make your mind up, because there's big clubs, and I'll say this with respect to them, but, call a spade a spade. There's clubs like Everton, there's all these big clubs that are big, but they're not, no one's going to say, oh, they should be winning something. Spurs are like, everyone's just kind of like, well, make your mind up. Either sit mid-table and, shut up, or actually put your money where your mouth is. And I mean that in every sense, because I think that, for me, you've hit the nail on the head. We're fourth. Now, if you said to me, well, anytime really, Spurs are fourth in the league, I'd say, all right, well, that's not a bad place to be as a Spurs fan. We're competing with at least 4 or 5 other clubs who I would argue are equal, if not better than us. City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, and hate to say that horrible red North London club. It's like we get it. I expect that. So being fourth in the league, it does feel a bit like what's going on. But there's no smoke without fire, I should say. And the reason why there's no smoke without fire is because Spurs aren't playing well. Yeah, they're not playing well. We're sitting fourth, but we're not playing well. And as a Spurs fan, I'm starting to see what the issue is this season. I'm not suggesting this is maybe the insidious issue, or maybe it is. But the issue is, the fact of the matter is that we're not playing the right football. We're not utilising the players the right way. And there's an argument to say that the man on the screen we just talked about is probably digging his heels in with a philosophy that doesn't suit this team. Now, I know Cal's got a bit of something to say on this, so I'll hand over to him in a sec. I just think that there's an argument to say that Pochettino should have realised a bit sooner than now. Not Pochettino, sorry. Conte, obviously, still.
Yeah.
Love
Still in your mind.
Still love Mr. Pochettino. Conte is trying to force this team to play a style of football which does not suit the players on the pitch. And for now, I'm gonna leave my rant on pause there and hand over to Cal and see what his thoughts are on what I've just said and his own thoughts in general.
I think the overwhelming thing with Spurs, for me, especially this season, because as you say, you look at the league table, it doesn't look bad at all, does it? Sitting in fourth place. The thing is with me for Spurs is Antonio Conte in general. I think since day one that he joined that club, I thought it was a very strange decision, to be honest, looking at his style of football and the way he is as a manager, and looking at the manager that they've just departed with just before him and replaced him with. And they look at a big personality, an arrogant personality that likes it done his way in Jose Mourinho, who's the manager at Spurs beforehand. And you look how that ended up. It didn't work very well at all. And then you go and get what I would describe as really, at least Jose these days has mellowed his tone a little bit, but you get this incarnate of just a very straight and narrow manager that doesn't take any nonsense, but also doesn't really care whether he has to hang about or not. So I thought from day one it was a strange appointment. And then it just seems to me every single time that something goes remotely wrong at Tottenham Hotspur, he's created where many managers come into a club and create a culture. I've heard that word so much today, speaking of managers do come in and create a culture and a dressing room that lifts the mood of the players after a manager's just been sacked and gets everybody going. Antonio Conte's culture, to me, seems to be, if everything's going okay, I'll be in your corner, I'll be there, I'll be facing up to the media. If it's not, then I'm sorry, that's your problem. That's not my problem. I came here to do you a favour. I'm just on the sidelines here. You guys have got yourselves into this mess. And I can just, it's an easy thing for a club like Tottenham Hotspur. These quotes are ridiculous for me. My blood was boiling when I saw these quotes because, as we said off air just before this, if Conte had said this in a leaked interview with Daniel Levy, a leaked phone call or something, and it had been put to the media, I wouldn't have too much of a problem with it because a lot of what he said is probably true of Spurs in recent years. But to come out to the press, you're talking the people at the top, the people at the bottom, and the people everywhere in between at that football club. You're going at there. You're talking about the culture, as we'll probably say it a million times today. You're going at every single person at that football club. And the one person that you're not going at and not saying isn't doing his job properly is you. And the bottom line is, you're the manager of this football club. You're the man that takes the flak. I'm a Liverpool fan. Eric Ten Hag this season has suffered, I think it's 3 pretty terrible defeats. I think one was against Brentford, obviously Liverpool, and Manchester City. Every time he comes out, he says, it's not good enough. But he doesn't talk about his players as though how rubbish they are. He says, as a team, we'll get through this on Monday morning. We'll work on this and we'll get it right. And they tended to do so pretty often. I've never seen a manager at a top-class English football club like this. From so early on, by the way, this is just festered. This isn't...
That's what I say, yeah.
From the start, be so separate and divisive from the team that he's putting out every week. I've never seen it ever in my life this bad. And these quotes this week for me, I'm surprised a man like Daniel Levy, because we've spoke about him before, and he's a man that divides opinion, but he has done a lot of good as much as he might have done a bit of bad as well. And he's an honourable man in a sense. I'm surprised he's not gone already. I'm surprised he didn't go the second it was leaked and put to the press, because for all that Conte's done in the game, I don't think there's a manager alive that has the chops to be able to say something like what he said in this media press conference about his club and his players and his owners and his boss. I don't think there's a manager in this country that can say that without taking the ultimate punishment.
Well, I think just to interject there quickly, I think you hit the nail on the head. But I think there has been, I think ultimately with Spurs, I think there's been some genuine bad luck. Now, I'm the first person to say that you are the makers of your own luck, you're the makers of your own downfall, and you're the makers of your own rise. You know, like I look at Liverpool. Honestly, I'm not just saying it because of Cal. I say Liverpool are a team that after looking back on the sort of 5 or 6 years that Liverpool have had, I can honestly say that that's a team who have manifested their own success. And Spurs for me are manifesting their own downfall. You can say that, but they've had some misfortune. I would say, just to interject on that point, I think that I've always said this when Pochettino left and we got Mourinho in. I knew it from day one that it was either going to be a Mourinho or a Conte, or even any manager. It could be an Ancelotti. There's an echelon of manager that is that, you know, that sort of kind of top echelon. We'd say they're the old top echelons. You know, Conte's up there, Mourinho's up there, Ancelotti, Pep, Klopp, all these people. And I think that there was a thing with Mourinho when Mourinho came and looked at Spurs just after Pochettino had just lost the Champions League final and it had gone a bit sour, and he'd gone, this is my legacy. Everyone talks about, you know, my legacy club is taking a nearly club like Tottenham and making them league winners, making them, you know, regular cup winners, or making them, you know, Champions League, certainly finalists or quarterfinalists, you know. And it's like, and I think that Conte's the same. They look at Spurs. I think that for them, there's an element of Spurs where they can go, well, look, you can't say that I'm just chasing money. I've taken a club like Tottenham, you know, and I think there's an element of that with these managers. Now, if it's not working out, I think that is partly 50-50. I think it's half the manager. I think it is half Daniel Levy. I've got very mixed feelings on Daniel Levy. I think Daniel Levy was once called a very shrewd, respected businessman. You know, when Spurs were, we talk about 10, 15 years ago, when Spurs were considered, I hate saying this word, I don't want to say feeder because they're not a feeder club, but certainly when we were like maybe a middleman stepping stone club in some ways, you know, when we would create, and bear in mind, if you talk from a financial point of view, you know, your Berbatovs, your Modric, Gareth Bale, Harry Kane to a point more recent years, he'd be the sort of guy that goes, all right, well, I understand. They want to play for Real Madrid. They want to play for Man United. Well, I'm going to get the best fucking deal I can. You know, and I respect the hell out of that. But he's taken that attitude and then tried to puff his chest out and say, well, look at us, look at this new stadium, look at this. It's like, you know, and I get it. The bad luck thing partly comes down to maybe the fact that stadium was finished just as the pandemic hit, so we couldn't even fill it, you know. So he's probably looked at, maybe 18 months to 2 years of no bums on seats. So that's probably taken a hit on the revenue. But it's bollocks. I looked at the numbers that they're going to make from the 2 nights that Beyonce's playing there. Fuck me, honestly. It's like...
Was she playing right back?
Yeah. Yeah, we could do it.
Oh, no, Emerson Royale's been all right recently, to be fair.
I know, yeah. I won't jump on him. Point is that I think that this could go on a night. It won't go on a night. But I'm going to set my stall out quite quickly that I'm not sitting on the fence, but I'm passionate about both sides of this argument. I blame Conte, but I also think, I think what you kind of alluded to as well, Cal, is that a lot of what he said is actually true. It's just not the way to do it. And I don't know that if he did have any sort of compassion or love for his team, you wouldn't demoralise them with this, which makes me think, and I'll say this as a nice Spurs fan, I saw that second half. That looked like a team that didn't want to win a game. And I'm not suggesting they threw it, but I knew that 2 weeks ago there was those reports saying that half a dozen players had gone to speak to Pochettino. If there's any truth in that, and Pochettino maybe is waiting for the end of the season to come back, that maybe there's half a dozen players on that pitch that might go, well, I don't really want to make Conte's job easier, which I don't believe, but they threw that game away. It also leads to, again, it could go on forever. It leads to more and more points for me, but I actually think that Conte is made valid points. It's just the worst way to do it. It's the worst way to do it. And it's the most disrespectful way. And yeah, like you said, Carl, I don't see him being there. And if he's there for the next home game or even just next game, I don't get it. Because how can he? That's what I'm saying. If he's there, it makes me think, well, he's got a lot more power than we think. But let's not forget that the whole contract thing with Conte, is actually in Daniel Levy's hands. Daniel Levy was always in the contract. Daniel Levy's the one who decides whether they extend it, not Conte. Daniel Levy was the one that says, "I'll decide if you're doing a good enough job after 18 months." And
I think as we understand the whole thing now, the sticking point is they're trying to work out a way where they don't have to pay him off for the last couple of months of his contract. I think they was talking about it on TalkSport today, where there is a way to do it, but it'll be hard work. And obviously, Conte will be sat over in Italy now saying, "I want my money," which is fair enough. And I suppose if you're a man who's
he did the same at Chelsea, though. He got 24 million from Chelsea compensation. And let's not forget, he left Inter Milan when they ran out of money because he spent it all. So it's not the first time. And he's had a series of clubs where he's just thrown the toys out of the pram. It's a very similar thing to Scott Parker, but in the media. This season, I'd say Scott Parker had the same issue with the owner. He got the boot. So it sort of shows the levels.
He was quite subtle as well, wasn't he? In the media? And he didn't do an outburst like that anyway. I think just a final little point for myself about it is you did hit on something then, Charlie, that triggers something in me about this whole thing with Conte. When they talk about that is what Conte wants people to think, I think, is that I came in and did these a favour. I'm doing these. There's nothing to lose here. I'm not supposed to be winning leagues or winning trophies. They haven't won a trophy for years. And that is the perfect excuse, I think, for a manager like him. I think Jose, I don't think he was as bad as intolerable as this. But I just see him and I feel like he's had this all worked out all along. When things go pear-shaped, how will I get myself and my reputation out of this? And he's pulled every trick out of the book. He's talking about, like you say, well, we haven't won a trophy for years, so you're going on about me now. What? It's no different, is it? They're not responding, things like this. I just think it's a complete lack of responsibility, and I'd love to see him gone this week for the sake of that club.
He has to. I think he has to, doesn't he? I don't think that they'd look reputable or dignified if they kept him longer than the weekend, to be honest with you. Ryan Mason as well, famously managed against Pep in the final with these, what was it, 2 games compared to
against 500 odd or something.
So you can add to that, I suppose. So any last thoughts on Spurs this season? I suppose we'll just cap it off here, won't we?
For me, I feel like it's just another round of turnstiles. It's like, okay, well, let's just line up for the next punch next season. Again, though, if we finish in the top 4, maybe it's a lack of ambition. I don't want to say. I don't think it is. I think the issue with Spurs, and I think that it's something we could maybe talk about, because I know Cal, in the last week when I was taken ill by drinking too much and having a hangover, there he is. I said to Tom, I said I would agree. I had a few drinks last week, ladies and gentlemen. But we talked about, the talisman Harry Kane, and Mike. Obviously, hindsight's a wonderful thing. In hindsight, I actually think that Harry Kane has been a huge part of why Spurs are struggling, because he's a guy where it meant that basically, I think, let me just try and word it correctly. I look at Liverpool again, right? When you look at how Liverpool operated, you look at Torres, Suarez, Coutinho, when they've got a player and they've made them into probably arguably one of the best, if not the best strikers in the league at one point, they sell them on and they take that money and they reinvest in the future. Now, there's an argument to say that Harry Kane has kept Spurs' head above water, not literally, because I think we would be fine anyway. But I think Harry Kane has kept them in that top echelon, certainly fighting for top 4. But he's also could have been sold for 100 million, and they could have gone, right, we've still got Son. We've still, because no striker, and it was obvious, no striker wanted to go to Spurs where Harry Kane was there. Now, if you're asking me, would I trade all the points he's given us for 100 million and that maybe wouldn't have been reinvested very well? Because I look at the Gareth Bale money, maybe scouting. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, well, Harry Kane is probably, I don't know. I now start to think, in hindsight, he could have moved on. And we could have taken 100+ million, which we definitely would have got for him. And we could have put that money somewhere else. Because one thing the Spurs are lacking is the I don't know. Again, that's why I said at the start, I'm contradicting myself. It's all conjecture because at the end of the day, you buy players. You don't buy players knowing they're shit. You buy players hoping, unless you're buying a marquee signing, unless you're buying a fucking, Haaland or whatever. You buy a 20, 30 million pound player now, which by the way is nothing in today's money. You spend 30, even 40 or 50 million pound really is the going rate for a prospect.
It's your standard, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, for your prospect. We bought Højbjerg, we bought Bentancur, we bought a load of. I still think that Royale is a bit of a donkey, but he's played quite well recently. You don't buy these players unless you hope they're going to play well. And if they do play well, then you're lauded as the fucking best scout in the world. But Spurs have had some bad luck with players not turning out to be who they are. And Harry Kane has got us out of the mud quite a lot. And I often wonder, could we have reinvested the money from him? And he could have had the career he probably deserves in some way, some would argue. And we could have, tried again. I haven't really wrapped up the Tottenham quote, but, that's just tap on it.
That all signs lead to Pochettino, doesn't it? To finish.
Yeah, but if you ask me honestly, do I want him back? I don't know. Yes, I do. I probably do because of what he did. But there's a part of me that is a bit of a, I don't believe in coming back. I think there's a poison chalice thing there. But I would say that Spurs need a manager that suits their status. Prospect. We need a prospect. We need someone who can grow and has a character like Poch. I don't agree with I now realise that the likes of Mourinho and Conte and all these managers who have been managing in the continental leagues, maybe in the one-horse leagues where you can win it within a season, they do, like Cal said, they have this attitude of, well, look at me. What's not my fault? They're not willing to dig their heels in and say, no, this is a team effort. Forgive the pun. It is a team effort. So I don't know. If Pochettino was announced to come back, I'd be bittersweet because I love the man, but I don't know if he's the right man.
It's a troublesome time, isn't it? An indecisive time to be a Spurs fan. Should we move on?
I think so, yes. I think we've had enough about Spurs right now. And obviously, going from Spurs, a team that beat Spurs and then beat Blackburn in the next round. Nice little link there. Blackburn obviously played against Sheffield United in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. Blackburn obviously have never been to the new Wembley, so we were 10 minutes away from it. Lost 3-2, obviously. 26 shots in the games, 12 on target, 5 goals, end-to-end, an absolute advertisement for football in terms of the Championship, especially. 2 teams banging forward. We've only lost 1 in the last 13. Sheffield United gone off the rails a little bit, but again, it was. You asked me this question. You said, "What is this the best game since the World Cup final?" And obviously not in terms of quality, but in terms of storyline, in terms of
excitement,
things on the line for the risk and reward factor, the amounts of chances that both teams had. It went. Sheffield United only were ahead for 3 minutes in the game, and they ended up winning the whole tie. Yeah, I was watching it down at my missus, and I couldn't believe my eyes when we went 2-1 up. It just came all of a sudden out of nowhere, and even losing 3-2, I came out of it feeling proud, feeling happy, feeling excited for the rest of the season. We're 5th in the league, 4 points above 7th with a game in hand, so we could even sneak into the top 2 if we really pushed on a little bit further. I think we're only 6 or 9 points behind. With 9 games to go, like I said, cup finals every single game now, and I really want to get in that playoff spot because I've never been involved in anything like that. Nothing with sort of a risk factor, apart from getting relegated, obviously. But it's the best I've seen us play since Pedersen days. What was that, 2005? 15, 20 years ago. So it's really exciting, and I don't know about you two. I don't know if you two watched the game, but I suppose as a neutral, it's a lot better than a City game, or I think Brighton played the next game. That was boring. So, yeah.
You said it. Sorry, you said it's an advertisement for football, end to end goals. I watched the highlights. I can't say I watched the game. I was still a bit licking my wounds from Spurs, and I was a bit like, I can't see them do well. But it was, from following it on like the updates on my phone, it looked like a hell of a game. and advertising football. So I thought it was great.
Yes, I thought it was best game since the World Cup final, I think.
To tip it off as well, that goal as well, the 92nd minute goal from 35 yards out, top corner. To lose a game in that way, you can't complain at all. Absolutely cannot complain.
Have they managed to sort out with City whether they can play? They said they was having a conversation with.
It was those two. Sorry, it was those two players, Doyle and McAtee. Both couldn't play in the game, but obviously from one FA Cup game to the next now, because obviously we've gone from a game with a lot of chances to a game with a lot of controversy. And to be honest with you, Fulham, their game plan was perfect until this point, the red card situation.
Yeah.
United won 3-1 in the end. I didn't even remember the third goal, to be honest with you. But I think everyone can remember I went for a wee when it was 1-0. Came back, three red cards, penalty for United. I didn't even. It was like within a minute of each other, and potentially Mitrovic could be banned for the rest of the season. I'm guessing you two caught a little bit of it as well, especially that minute or so.
I managed to watch the game actually, and like you say, I think after about 15 minutes, I'd text a friend who's a United season ticket holder. I said, "You're in trouble here. They're looking really, really good, Fulham," and they continued that throughout the game, and they was superb. Did everything right, won all the battles, outran Man United, and had so many chances to potentially cast themselves adrift. And then, as you say, just a moment of madness. You think if Jadon Sancho has just an inch of overexcitement there and tries to hit it earlier, it gets cleared away. And this doesn't happen, and United are out. Fulham are in an FA Cup semi-final, but it's all those inches, isn't it, in football? And it is a red. It's horrible.
The penalty was.
It's definitely a red card, but I think the Fulham fans now are trying to mention. I hadn't seen it until I looked at the replay. Well, Rashford two-hand pushes Willian towards.
Does he?
Pushing him that way, and then obviously the shot comes and hits his arm there. So there's that argument. I don't think it holds too much, but I just thought, what a shame for a team that's doing so well this season unexpectedly to look so composed, and then it all goes up in flames, and no one can even have a go at each other after, because the manager, the best player, and one of the most experienced players have all done it, and all the kids are stood there like, "Oh right." So it was a shame.
There was a bit in the second half. They subbed off half of the team because it was four subs, because there was 8 outfielders. Mental.
I think it's. I mean, I think obviously it was touched upon a bit. I know on Sky Sports, Mitrovic's red card. It should be a red card. The trouble is that it's obvious that should have been a red card, because you don't do that. They talk about when Fernandes pushed the linesman a few weeks ago, and you go, yeah, well. And to be honest, I think that football has an issue when it comes to the officiating, especially the way that the officials work. The grey area is that the officials are kind of picking and choosing their moments to be righteous and be grey in like the grey area. Like, because in my opinion, if Mitrovic gets a red card, which I think he definitely does, Fernandes should have got a yellow card for touching the lines, purely because if that's what they're setting their stall out, they need to start getting the officials the respect they deserve. And when like Howard Webb came out and he did that thing, I can't remember what the game was, but he came out and he was talking about, because of the Rashford offside decision in the Manchester derby. And he came out to talk about VAR and how this, that, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, but they're not even clearing up the most simple things. And one of them is the fact that when will we decide that players can't do this to the referee? They can use the angle of there's kids watching. They can use all these angles. There's fucking 25, if not, there's 30 cameras on the pitch. Yeah. Like literally, there's 30 cameras on that pitch. And it's like, when do they not turn around and say, we need some consistency here? Because Mitrovic should be sent off. Is there an element that Mitrovic thought, well, hang on, he might be thinking about the Fernandes. He probably isn't. He's thinking about the Fernandes instinct. The referees don't help themselves. And if
I do think that I have seen a lot about this week, about the comparison between the two incidents. Obviously, that was against Liverpool. Watched that game, and pretty much so I've seen some nonsense that it's not a similar incident because there's more venom in Mitrovic's face when he does it, which is ridiculous in itself. They're both issues where the referee's pushed out of the way or pushed in a fashion like that. But what I will say on this, and I find it weird defending them at times because they infuriate me often. If they get something wrong, I don't think I can find myself questioning why they then do it right the second time just because they didn't do it right the first time. I think for the Fernandez issue, there was so many people came out saying, what is this doing for grassroots referees? It's doing nothing because it just shows you can put your hands on us and you'll be fine. You carry on playing. They got that one wrong. And this one, they're throwing the book at him, to be fair. It looks that way anyway. So I think for me personally, on this issue, I'm not going to push myself to criticise them on a lack of consistency simply because I think they made a big mistake in not punishing Fernandez. And now they're righting that wrong. And I imagine this will be the staple now for touching referees. I'd like to think so anyway, but I could be wrong. And then we can talk about that again. But
at least they made up for the mistake, like I said. And to sort of cap off the FA Cup, talk about VAR. It was really weird seeing Blackburn have VAR. I've never been involved in a game with that. So as soon as it went like that, I was like, "What is going on here?" And he unballed it. I was like, "Oh, I've never." And I was speaking to someone. I said to someone who was at the game, and he was like, "What on earth is going on?" I was like, "VAR," and he was like, "I didn't even know it was involved in this game." So shows how maybe irrelevant we are. I don't know. I'm not too sure. Mate. But obviously. Something else happened this weekend, and it's not football related, which is what we're trying to do in this podcast. Slowly make it not football related. Leon Edwards, I'm guessing I've said it right. It's quite clearly an easy name to say. I don't know who he beat, but Cal, you watched the game, the fight.
Yeah, so
fighting game,
Leon Osmond. Leon Osmond.
We can't help us.
He watched Leon Osmond.
Jeez, like casuals now. Leon Edwards from Birmingham, I believe he's from Solihull. He secured a victory and he secured the belt at the UFC in the O2 Arena in London against Kamaru Usman, who is an absolute beast, and he'll go down as one of the greatest welterweights of all time. They've had 3 fights now. He comfortably lost the first one, Leon Edwards. And then the second one, he was getting ragged about, to be fair, by Kamaru Usman. And then that famous headshot dead, super kicked him in the face, shin through the chin, out cold. So then the rematch then for the belt.
Should we watch your reaction of it?
I did watch it live, yeah.
Come on, Leon! Come on! Yeah! Headshot! Dead!
Lacked a little bit of passion there.
Do you know what was funny about it? It was in the middle of a gig, obviously, you can hear, in our local pub. But what was weird is we were screaming at the top of our lungs because the music was so loud. We were screaming. Nobody was looking over. Everyone was just enjoying the gig. So it was perfect, really, because we sat right in the middle of this gig on, I think it was Paddy's weekend. And we had it just there. We got the BT Sports app. We got it all set up on with an empty glass behind, and we were just watching away. And then, yeah, nobody was bothered, so we just enjoyed it. It was
very on, yeah. That's, to be fair, that's a nice little situation you got there.
Oh, yeah, it's the best of both worlds.
We'll find out later.
Caroline.
Yeah, if you didn't already know the song. At the same time as well, that's like perfectly.
Oh God, yeah,
it's nicely done. So obviously now we'll go on to the random footballer of the week, and obviously last week we had who do we have? We had Linvoy Primus.
I'm going
Primus.
Primus, I think.
And go on, Cal, you're a striker up there.
Jan Venegor of Hesselink, the man himself.
And we do have something small to talk about last season. Obviously, there's a little quiz before the quiz in the second half. Guess how many appearances that this team has had? Because this obviously is the first season. Obviously, Shaka Hislop, Haridison, Colicini, Figueroa, Chimbonda, Duff, Rio Coca, Okocha, Ali Adier,
What we're looking at,
Zaki.
So closest to what? Guessing the closest to a certain number, or
I've got something stupid. Do you know what I mean?
I've got the average number of appearances, and I've also got the entire appearances here. So,
I mean, it'd be easy to think that you're looking at 1,000, but you're not combined. And it's not really, is it? Because some of them would have had over 100 appearances. Maybe some of them. I don't think Chimbonda was there for 4 years. So
he was at Wigan as well, wasn't he?
Oh shit! Yeah, okay.
Blackburn.
I would say if I was to take an average appearances, I'd say the average is what 90.
90, Cal.
You looking at that? I'm going to go about 75, I think.
So the average was 171.
Oh, Christ.
Okay,
I put 100 at the start of the match.
1,882 appearances in the team, and the smallest appearances was Amir Zaki with 35. Chimbonda's had 149 appearances in the Premier League.
Wow.
There you go.
Was Shaka Hislop the highest?
Up there.
No, it was Damien Duff with 360.
Of course, yeah.
Cal, have you got your random footballer?
I have, yes.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Always ready.
Random footballer of the week.
Stuart Downing.
Jack Rodwell.
Random footballer of the week.
So we'll obviously put Steed Malbronk left wing or right wing. I think that's the aim. Put Jack in the middle. So we've got one spot left in the team now. Do we leave it for Charlie?
Oh, we could do a little left back, Charlie.
Left back, Charlie.
Am I allowed to have a week to think about it?
Yeah, of course. Right,
absolutely. As the manager, put you on the spot there. But obviously, we haven't actually done the poll in weeks, to be fair. So because he used to get 4 votes.
For what it's worth, I think that Jack Rodwell and your man, I can't remember what you said his name. What was
Stuart Downing.
Stuart Downing. I think they're of equal irrelevance and relevance. So
I do think it was a weak this week. To be fair, I think
they're both equal. They're both equally, in my brain.
And obviously, I'll link you back to Blackburn because they both play for Blackburn at some stage in their career. So we'll go on to the next segment, which is JSV, and here we go.
Does Southgate want his job back after the World Cup as a domino?
I told you so.
Yous can never ever do
As every nation seems to be good at doing with Duffer. You Dauber, Stoner hit the low taken penalty. So watch out, Gareth. The pizzas are coming.
Pizzas are coming.
My light just turned off then as I was doing that. Did you see that? Obviously, last week we put in a certain chairman of the BBC. There he is, sat there. I cut round him. Lovely. We've got four in there at the minute. It's getting a bit crowded, getting a bit Guantanamo Bay-esque. So obviously this week we talked about it for a little while, didn't we, Charlie? And we thought this might be the perfect opportunity for you to add him to the JSV, the John Shirley Vault. Would you like to include your nomination?
Can we make a quick disclaimer though? Because if he does lose his job in time for the next podcast, we might have to talk about it a little bit.
We can say everything but his name.
Yeah, we can censor it.
By the end, we'll have like 8 eggs. Just shit in the wall.
I end up. Doesn't worry me. I end up calling him Pochettino twice. So
well, yeah, you already started it. Yeah.
Yes. Obviously, to the listeners. Obviously, I'm a little bit. He deserves it after the rant But if he turns this season around and gets us something, I might end up literally and figuratively with egg in and on my face, because it's going to be in John Shirley's Vault, Antonio Conte for the meltdown. The some would say justified, but really not. Antonio Conte is definitely a worthy entrance, and I think when I see Cristiano Ronaldo there.
Oh no! It's two in one night. Oh no! He's got one egg ready anyway. Oh, it's massive.
We'll leave that there. And to be honest with you, Antonio Conte does need time in the slammer right now. He needs a time off, and
in
the break, get yourself another egg, lad.
I can't believe it.
Well, while we do this, we'll just cut to the VT of the quiz. So let's go on with that now.
3, 2, 1. Oh, that's the day he's done it again, that Harry Kane. That fucking dirty little... He's done it again!
Now, you see, I'm talking facts here. I don't do if, buts and maybes. I do absolute ice in the fucking veins, mate! Fucking have that, you... Send that to your fucking friends! Let me talk! Let me talk!
And we are back for the quiz after that little Charlie hiccup there, adding to his forfeit for next week. We'll do it next week. I think we've crammed a lot in this week, haven't we? So on to the quiz. Charlie, what do you have in store for us this week, my friend?
Well, yeah, as I say, obviously last week I'm a bit on the naughty list because last week, bowing out due to alcohol-related illness, and then I also knew though that we were going to be having a bit of a session talking about like Conte and a few other bits. Oh my god, he's just gone in the vault, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Free. He's got free. You think it's all over. Anyway, I'll carry on from that while you wince and cry yourself into a drink. Currently, the score right now is 162 to 153.
That's what happens when you go away.
I was going to say, I think the next two fucking people in that vault are you two. That quiz descended into shit.
That's what happens. Last season we got 1 point in the first 5 games, but then this one, you know what? Which went the other way. Obviously, last week we did, I believe, the last 71 clubs to face against England, and we also did the nicknames, weren't it? Nicknames of the places.
Oh yeah.
Both getting 71 points each, and in real time we couldn't add 144 to like 10. So we really struggled on that. But what have we got in store this week, Charlie? I'm sure
we've just got a traditional quiz. As I say, we've done quite a lot of talking. We've spoken about different subjects. I won't say his name again. I'm not going to add another egg to my tally. So I've just got a straight 5.
I genuinely think if you didn't say anything then, I reckon you could have got away with that one then.
I know, but I'm a man of my honour, and you guys probably would have watched it back.
Oh, in the edit, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think that we've got 5 questions each. They're just general knowledge. I think for a bit of fun, I'm going to have a nice, easy. I say easiest. I like my specialist topics, but we're going to go for a nice, easy question each. 5 questions each. But I am going to bring back the. I remember a couple of weeks ago I mentioned that I want to try and have the rule where if you can get the answer straight away, it's worth, I think let's say 3 points. Was it 5 points? It might have been 5 points. No, 3 points.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Yes, 3, 2, 1. It might be more, but yeah, if you get it without any help, it's 3 points. If you need multiple choice, no, was it multiple choice? Yeah.
Clue, then multiple choice.
Yeah,
clue 2 points, and then multiple choice 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever need a quizmaster, don't come knocking. Honestly, I'm about as useful as a chocolate fucking cock. Honestly, this is awful. Right. Right. So,
what?
I'm losing it tonight. Right. We have 5 questions each. Maximum of 15 points to one person, and minimum.
I'm just happy I'm on triple digits, to be fair. That's all I'm happy with.
Yeah. You guys talk about me like, underhand work. I leave you for 1 week and all of a sudden you get that.
Lose the plot.
You absolutely lose the plot. Mind you, I've lost the plot tonight, so yeah. Right. 5 general knowledge questions each. 3 points if you get it straight away, 2 points if you need a clue, and 1 point if you get it with multiple choice. Dom, because I couldn't count all the numbers, can I have a reminder of what the scores are, please?
So it's 153 to 162 to Cal.
162, 153. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. We may, if you're for another couple of weeks, we may need a different sized font. That's all I'll say. Just name a football team and you get 20 points. I think we'll get to that stage at some point.
We'll get to that point. We'll get to some point.
Yeah, it's
Right.
fine.
So, just general knowledge. Flipping of an imaginary coin. Let's say Cal goes first. Cal goes first.
Great little sound effect, that, by the way.
Oh, really?
Sounded like a Twitter thing or something.
It's great.
Yes.
Some of these are easy. Some of them aren't easy. I don't give a shit. Just get them right. Come on. Right, Cal.
He's gone.
I am gone. I can't believe.
Just give us the 15 points now, and we'll
I've let myself down so much. I'll go with Cal first. Cal, who was the last Manchester United player to win the Ballon d'Or or the equivalent of the Ballon d'Or before Cristiano Ronaldo?
Oh, he said it again.
Oh shit! It's part of the quiz. It's part of the quiz. It's part of the quiz. It's part of the question is. The question is.
You're not getting away with that.
I said CR7.
The question is. I should have said CR7. The question is, who was the last Man United player before CR7 to win the Ballon d'Or?
We'll VAR that one. We'll VAR it.
The Ballon d'Or.
Or the equivalent of the Ballon d'Or.
That means it's ages ago, doesn't it? I'm going to take a clue. I'm going to go about this tactically, I think. Take a clue.
Yes, it's a long time ago, if that's a clue. It's a long time ago.
Right, so I'm stuck between two. I'm stuck between Sir Bobby Charlton and George Best. I think I'm going to go with Sir Bobby Charlton. Final answer.
Cal, you were stuck between Bobby Charlton and George Best, and the answer is George Best. I'm afraid.
I would have said Bobby Charlton, to be fair. Sorry, I didn't.
He has won. Did he win a couple? No, I think he has won it. Oh well.
Well,
I didn't do feeding the ducks. Maybe that's why you didn't get it.
Exactly.
Maybe give you a time. Dom, your first question for either 3, 2, 1, or 0 points. Which current Premier League team launched a bid to be officially the oldest club in the world? Still running, I should say. Still running.
What? They bidded it. They bid.
So no, what I'm saying is that there's a. Well, the question is, which current Premier League team launched a bid to be recognised as the oldest club in the world?
In the Prem.
Because I'm guessing they're not being recognised as the oldest club, but they want to be recognised as the oldest club.
So the founding members, I'm guessing, well, Everton was in that. Villa might have been in that. Trying to think of the other ones: Stoke, Preston, Blackburn, Accrington, Notts County. I'll have a clue. Why not? I think I've got it down to 2.
Right. Well, your clue is this: they are a London-based club.
Oh, well. Right. What? Not a founding member, then. That's fine.
There goes the.
When you say that,
no. The founding member is different to how old a club is. To be fair.
Yeah, as I say, they are the oldest registered club.
Let's think. So London, there's Chelsea, Tottenham, West Ham, Spurs, Palace. Unless I'm missing someone, we'll go off one of them, and I will say, not Barnet. I will say Arsenal.
See,
is it?
You've answered, so I'm gonna give you the answer anyway. But I looked this club up while you were doing the duck feeding noises, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't really research why. And I saw where this club is, where one of the club's like starting dates. I was like, well, that's definitely not. What it means is that the club was founded at amateur level. Arsenal, bearing in mind, I mean, ironically, as a Spurs fan, I can say this, Arsenal are not from North London originally. They're actually from South London, and they moved up there because they're shithouses. But this club claims they want the oldest status because they started in 1854.
Okay.
It's not Arsenal, so unfortunately you've lost the point.
That's fine.
But,
I'm actually intrigued now.
but they're bidding. I'm looking at it now. They're launching a bid because they were the oldest club still going, which means they started in 1854 as an amateur club, and that club is Crystal Palace.
Ooh,
Wow.
do you know what was interesting then, Doc? I'm fairly certain because I raised my eyebrow. You named all the London clubs, bar
Did I miss
Arsenal, and then you said,
Oh,
I'm going
did I say
to go
Arsenal?
from one of these, and then you said Arsenal. I was like,
They're
who
called
gets
like
this
Woolwich,
right now?
aren't they? They're called like Woolwich. Yeah, but Arsenal, obviously, as a Spurs fan, we know about, like, Arsenal famously moved from South London to North London, and but no, they're not. But it was Crystal Palace. I just
Palace.
yeah,
I
it was
like
Crystal
that.
Palace.
I like it.
Fascinating. Right,
See,
Cal.
we get 144 points, and we're currently on 0 each now.
Well, this next one could be worth 3 points for you, Cal.
Oh,
Okay.
buddy.
Which former Premier League team was sponsored by TY, the owners of Beanie Babies, from 2002 till 2005?
That is Stop the Ducks, Portsmouth, Pompey.
You are correct. That is Pompey, Portsmouth.
What a kit, by the way. That's like
beautiful
classic
kit. Yeah.
Premier League years kit, you know. Linvoy Primus.
Yeah, Primus.
I'll say both just to appease, because I don't have a clue.
As though there's a big split in the countries.
Yeah, honestly. Is it Primus or Primus?
We need to settle it, really.
Well, the fact that Beth being from Northern Ireland, and it grinds me, Beth says that high street shop she calls it Primark.
Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously the rest of the world and their dog calls it Primark. But Beth is under this crazy assumption that it's pronounced Primark. So maybe that leads into a bit of...
Well, I mean, Logan Paul and KSI have Preem.
Primy drinks.
Onwards we go.
Dom,
This is chaos.
Dom, your relatively easy question, or is it easy? I don't think it is actually. Maybe not as easy. How many Champions League titles has Zlatan Ibrahimovic won? Cups. Sorry. How many Champions League?
What?
How many Champions League cups? Yeah.
I'm gonna guess. I don't think he's won. Zero. Is it zero?
I think so.
I'm trying to think.
That's
unless he won
dirty
it like
question. That
he's taken part in 14 Champions League finals.
Has he?
Finals?
I think no. Sorry, no. It's my bad. No, it's not. He's taken part in 14 Champions League seasons. Sorry, I should have probably prepared how many finals he's been in, but he has won 0. So you are correct.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build a bit of suspense, but I think
he's won. He's won basically everything else, hasn't he? He's been everywhere else as well.
Yeah.
I think he's left like 3 clubs the season before they won the Champions League as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Cal?
Yes.
In Champions League fashion, then, who is the only player to have won the Champions League with 3 different clubs?
Oh, it's. I think I've got my answer. I think it's Clarence Seedorf.
We can have a little bit of adjudication of how you pronounce that surname.
Clarence Seedorf.
Cal, you are correct.
Yes, thank
Cal,
you.
I would have got that wrong.
He won it with Real Madrid, AC Milan, and Ajax. I didn't realize it was Ajax. So he went with Ajax. So yeah, happy day.
I would have guessed Eto.
Okay.
Milan and Inter Milan and Barca, didn't he?
Who's the other? I'm thinking there's someone else. There's someone else who's won it a couple. Who won it in? Xabi Alonso surely would have won it with Liverpool and Real Madrid. No.
Did he win? Did they win
Maybe-
the Champions League while he was there? 'Cause
Maybe
I think he
not,
might have
actually.
won one at Bayern, but
Yeah, I was going to say I'm buying. Fucking hell, yeah.
Maybe
But obviously, if he's not the answer to
I
this
don't
bloody
think he
question,
is.
he didn't.
no.
Danny Sturridge as well.
Oh yeah, Daniel Sturridge in the
Yes,
show as well.
Chelsea and Liverpool.
Can we have points for these?
Yeah. No.
Right.
Next one. These are a couple of kind of bit humorous, obscure, like guess the reason why kind of things. Well, not really, but one that just play funny stories. So Cal. Is it Cal or is it Dom?
Dom.
Sorry, Dom. Fans, and to be fair, it's quite fun, to be fair. So fans of Dutch side ADO Den Haag stormed the club's training ground in February 2020 to confront their manager, a British former Premier League boss, over his poor tactics. Who was that manager?
Oh, okay. It was was it Alan Pardew?
I think it was.
You are correct. It's Alan Pardew.
Imagine that. What?
He just stormed the training ground to tell him.
He's probably still contracted to Newcastle at that point as well, because
Yeah.
he did get an 8-year deal at one point.
did.
So
Fucking madness. So yes, we have the
is he a
correct place.
good-looking man?
That dance, that silly dance he did. puts me off
Yeah,
him, doesn't
yeah.
it?
It's very.
So
I
is
don't-
it 6-all after 3 each? I believe.
Well, you've got another.
Oh no,
question.
we both took a clue on the first one, didn't we? On the second one.
But you got it wrong.
Sorry, we got it wrong. Yeah, so it's 6-all, isn't it?
So it's 6-all. I can't remember.
Cal, you've got another question, I think. Have you?
I'm sure it's 3 questions each that we've had so far.
You sure? No, I think you went first. So I think I've just given.
I went first.
Dom went
Oh
first.
no,
so
Cal
it's-
went first.
I went first. I got it wrong. Then Dom got it wrong. Then I got
Yeah.
it right. Then Dom got it right. Then I got it right. And Dom just got that
So,
right.
so it's on you now, Cal. Okay. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. A
This
bit,
is what you do, but drink this.
yeah. All this. Oh shit! Probably shouldn't show the,
Yeah.
Well, you don't get paid for it, so it's not a sponsor, is it? It's like,
hey,
we're trying to,
manifest.
we're trying to get advertisement from a different beer right now. So
Yeah.
if you're going to drink one, drink a certain one that we're not going to mention because we want to get a sponsorship one day.
We only drink. Fill in the blank.
And also association.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Just the kid version of it. Anyway, carry on.
Cal.
Here we go.
Yes.
In 1986, defender Alvin Martin scored a hat-trick in an 8-1 victory over Newcastle. What was so peculiar about his achievement?
Alvin Martin, didn't he play for Villa?
That's great knowledge from
Spurs?
1986.
No, he's on Talksport.
Oh, right.
He's a commentator. I should have
okay.
just flagged that, shouldn't I? Is
Yeah.
it Spurs he played for? Can I have a clue, please?
The clue is it's to do with. Should probably thought about the clue before I actually did this. It's to do with. I need to give you a clue. I need to give you a clue, so it's fine. It's to do with something to do with the squad of the other team.
I'm gonna kill you. I need a multiple choice. I don't know. I don't know. I need multiple choice.
Fair enough. He was okay. So he was the first official in the English leagues. It was the first official perfect hat trick in the sense that he scored left foot, right foot header, which obviously gives you a shit because it's not true at all, is it?
So it's a choice of 2.
No, yeah, it is. No. To be fair, it is. I've made that one up. These next 2 are proper legit ones. One of the.
I thought you just gave the answer then. I was like, what?
No. I realised what the clue was. I thought, well, that doesn't even make sense.
No.
No. It was the fact that all 3 of the goals came off of a deflection from a defender. or the fact that he scored against 3 different goalkeepers?
Ooh.
I think that the latter has to be. I don't think you'd be remembered for 3 deflected goals. I'm going to go with 3 goalkeepers.
You are correct. It was 3 different goalkeepers.
So I got 1.
1 point there, Cal. 1 point.
Should get half a point, really. One of my multiple choices.
It's fucking awful.
Quickly abandoned.
That wasn't your fault. To be fair. It was me.
Why? How could it have ever been Cal's fault?
That's what I mean. Just poor.
This has been one of the funniest quizzes we've done for a while ever, I think.
I know. It's just so poor.
Take it. No.
Quizmaster's on Peroni. That's what it is. Right.
And eggs.
And eggs, which I'll be doing next week. Okay, Dom. Who are the only team to have played in all 6 divisions of English football? So that's obviously Premier League, Divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4. They've even played in Division 3 North and Division 3 South.
Okay.
But they played in all 6. They're the only team to have played in all 6 leagues.
Right, so they played in like National League North and South. North and South.
Well, no, they've not played in North and South. No, they played.
That's what you said, wasn't it?
You can't have played in North and South, can they?
They've played in the North League and the South League.
It depends on where you are in the country with that season where you're.
So I suppose that kind of is a bit of a clue.
Yeah, it must be like a Midlands team. Do you know what I mean?
There's a free clue.
There's a free
clue.
Yeah.
I would have deduced that from that anyway.
Yeah.
So does that mean 7?
It's also part of the question, which is they played in the North and South as well as the Premier League. Yeah. It's actually 7, yeah. So it's Premier League 1, 2, 3, and 4, and also the North and South League.
Right, yeah. 1, 2, 3, National League, and then North and South. Fucking hell. I'll just throw out some names. Like, maybe Wimbledon, or maybe Oxford, Swindon, Oldham.
I mean, am I allowing you just to sort of say names?
I'll go for a clue.
I mean, the free clue is they're based in the Midlands.
Right, Midlands team. Right.
Yeah.
Think of a Midlands team that's been up and down a lot. Birmingham, no. Maybe. Leicester. Telford. Shrewsbury could have been there up at one point. Midlands, Mansfield, Chester. I'm just naming teams at this point. I'll go for because I'd rather than just get 2 points than 0. Shrewsbury Town, because I'm guessing it wasn't the Prem that they were in. It was like Division 1.
I mean, do you want a bit of a handicap? Because I did say they played at the Premier League.
Oh, but it said Division 1, so I just assumed.
No, it was Premier League. They say Division 1, which I think they imply is like the Championship. They played in every competitive league.
Oh.
So I'll let you off for a little bit. I'll let you off because I got the question off of the site and it says they played in every league, including the Premier League.
Well, there can't have been a team from that logo down to up to the Prem. Oh, Bournemouth. No, it can't be Bournemouth. How can it be Bournemouth and Midlands? Midlands team. I'll go with just Birmingham City FC, because I don't know. I'm actually more intrigued than anything, to be honest with you.
The club who have played in every league, they say 6, but now we counted it as 7. It is actually Coventry City.
Oh, Coventry City. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Coventry. I know. Yeah.
When were Coventry down there?
They guess they were really down there because that's really low, isn't it?
Pretty low.
It's
That
pretty
is,
low.
that is,
low,
to be
big
honest
low.
with you, that is quite low.
It's pretty low. It's pretty low. It's pretty low.
So I think it's one more each.
Yes.
And you're head by one.
Head by one.
No. Yes, you are in this current round. Cal,
Yes.
with 170 caps to her name, which player has made the most appearances for the England national women's team?
Oh, she got it recently, didn't she? Oh God, what's her name? Ella White.
You've gone straight in to get 3 points there. Gosh, you could have even risked it.
Sure, she
I
just got
wouldn't-
it. Oh, was
I
it the
wouldn't have had a
goals?
clue.
Oh, she might have done the. She might have got the all-time goal scorer.
You have locked in your answer, Cal. You went in bold. You wanted 3 points.
Christ.
You wanted to put a bit more of a dagger between you
Was it
and
Kelly
John,
Smith.
you and Dom. And in terms of appearances, it's actually with 170 caps, it's Farrah Williams.
Oh, she's played for Liverpool. Oh God, brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, she got. I think Ellen White got the goal scoring record this summer.
Yeah, she
I think
did.
that's
She
what
did.
it was.
She did.
Oh, that's poor.
Nah,
Unfortunately.
it's a good guess. I wouldn't have. I would have just said like Alex Scott. I wouldn't have.
Yeah, I would have gone with. I would have
I
gone
wouldn't
with.
have said, I don't think I'd have said Farrell Williams. Actually.
Who's the pundit? Not Alex Scott, the other one who did the World Cup one.
Karen.
No, Elogu, not Elogu. What's her name?
Oh,
Oh,
she has
Annie
a brother.
Aluko.
That's
Yeah.
Elogu. That's the one. I would have gone for her.
I was thinking Kelly Smith as well. She was like the one who brought it forward, wasn't she? She was a brilliant player. And but yeah, I wouldn't have said Farrell Williams.
Yeah.
But I wish I had.
Dom,
Yes. Hello.
which outfield player is the only player to have appeared in a Champions League final in 3 different decades?
Got this.
Have you got this?
I think so.
Right. So I'm assuming. Did anybody play in like 2009 and then 2020? Because I'm guessing it'd be noughties, 10s, 20s. So that makes me think it's a Real Madrid player. It's frustrating that I talk these through because I'm guessing the clue will be like, he played for Real Madrid.
If you want a clue, I can give you a clue.
Yeah, I'll have a clue.
The decades are the 90s, the noughties, and the 10s.
Okay, thank God. 10s, it must be like noughties, 10s.
Judging by Cal's very confident head nods, I think he may have the answer.
I've got it.
I'm assuming he does, yeah. Which is frustrating in itself.
It's frustrating for me. I wish I got asked it.
Really?
Yeah.
It was in the 10s, like the late 10s. It was old. I'm trying to think who was in late 10s. Like, can't have been in that Chelsea team. Bayern, maybe. Madrid. Who's old for Madrid? I'm assuming it's a Real Madrid player. I'll go for a choice of 3.
Fuck's sake.
Sure.
Is it obvious? Is it obvious?
No, it's not obvious, but I think you're fucking hell.
Yeah.
I think you're going to level it up now. I think the choice of 3 will help you massively.
Well, I need to make sure.
Because you've not even got close to it yet. And as soon as you hear
no. Have we mentioned him before? I don't know. Maybe.
I should probably have prepared my choice of 3 instead of drinking Peroni. So
Right. Instead, then I'll.
No. To be fair, it's fine. I can give you 3.
It must have been Who's fucking old in 2010? Have we got? Wait, so have we got a guess of three?
Instead of giving you a guess of 3, I'll give you another clue. And
okay, that's fine.
it's an English club.
Wait. Can I?
Oh.
I think we might have got.
Oh no! I got it. I'm fine. It's going to be either one of Giggs or Scholes. So
did you say it's an English club?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that Ryan Giggs played in 99, 2007, and 2011. So I will say Ryan Giggs.
It is Ryan Giggs.
Right. Okay.
What was the question?
90s,
who has
90s,
played in the Champions League final in 3 different decades? The only outfield player.
Well, Paolo Maldini's done it.
Has he?
Yeah. So I would have locked.
Blame the fucking Telegraph. I think it was the Daily Telegraph. Whoever I got the quiz from.
So what? Oh, so was Ryan Giggs?
It claims
2008, 2010,
and 2009.
and 99.
So wait, when would Maldini
won? Paolo Maldini won in 89, 90. Oh no, there was a. He's played in 89, 93, 2003, but then he also played in 2005 and 8.
Well, was it the? It wasn't the Champions League till 92.
The Champions League were they the final, Cal?
Yeah, that's what it says here.
Oh, fair
Ryan
enough.
Giggs
It might be. If Ryan Giggs has
names,
got it right, then if Ryan Giggs is right, then.
Well, I got the question.
I got it right.
Yeah,
you got the answer that I wanted, so I'll give you.
I'm sure that Maldini had done the same, though. That was all.
Maybe it was named like European Cup at the time in 18.
Maybe, to be fair, yeah, maybe that's what it is. Because on the site that I use, I think it was like a Daily Telegraph quiz generator. It said that they're the only outfield player to have played in the Champions League final in 3 decades. So maybe the semantics is what it was called, the Champions League. But I'll take that because Maldini would be a great shout. I've just looked this up. 647 fucking appearances for AC Milan. The guy is an absolute demon. Lovely man. Monster.
He's great as well. He scored after 50 seconds in 2005. What a player. That was a loud one.
That was a really haunting sound. Well, I'm going to say, boys, to wrap up this quiz, this is going to be a week to forget for me. I've been a bit tipsy. I've said 3 times of John Shirley's Vault entrance.
Oh, I thought you were going to do something else then.
No, I wouldn't say. And then, not only that, my club's manager's got up the shitter as well. So this is going to be fun.
Who's that?
Pochettino.
So that will be 4 eggs for Charlie next week. One for his agreed forfeit for missing out, and 3 JSV failures in a hat trick in one pod.
It's bad, isn't it?
Do you know, bad is a word, but absolutely amazing as well.
Well, can I just also wrap up by saying that the scores at the doors are, after Cal gained 7 points in that quiz and Dom gained 8 points, that the scores are now Cal with 169 to Dom's 161. So he's starting to close down a little bit. It's down to 8 points. 8 points.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all. And I think that will wrap up the quiz and the podcast very much. So thank you, Charlie, for being a feature in all just here. And we'll look forward to the eggs next week. That'll be great. We'll be grateful for that. So cheers for that, and cheers for coming on. And Cal, any last thoughts?
I'm just thinking about he'll do the 4 and then he'll still be able to have like a 2-egg omelette afterwards as a little snack in his little pot.
That'll be all right.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So well done all. A great pod. Enjoyed it thoroughly. I think we got everything that we wanted to off our chest, and onwards to the second half.
Yeah.
The big second half.
This first half of the pod this season has flown by, and we will all see you. We will see you all next week, next Thursday. Thank you for all joining. If you haven't already, can you go subscribe, comment below, Any questions, any thoughts on Conte, any thoughts on anything that we spoke about in this podcast, as well as the quiz, because it was been one of my favourite. And we will see you all very, very soon. So see you later, guys. Cheers.
See you later.